Wage increases among several benefits for hotel workers in a deal hammered out between the BWU and the BHTA. Government extends the benefits for fisherfolk affected by the passage of Hurricane Beryl. We'll hear from the Minister of Maritime Affairs. With road fatalities up this year, Barbadians urged to be more careful this festive season.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. We begin tonight with good news for some workers in the tourism sector who will be benefiting from a major agreement between the Barbados Workers Union and the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association. They will be receiving an early Christmas gift following 3 years of relentless negotiations spanning 2021 to 2024. Now that's because the Barbados Workers Union has secured a landmark deal marking a significant victory for workers in hotels and other tourism-related businesses. Today, Deputy General Secretary and Director of Industrial Relations, Dwayne Paul, says the agreement delivers critical benefit included wages increases, improved working conditions, and enhanced paternity leave provisions.
Effective the 1st of January 2025, you will see meal provisions for the sector as follows. All B-class listed properties will receive a meal allowance of $12 daily. All A and luxury class properties who presently provide meals, and according to the information supplied by the BHTA, all luxury and B-class properties covered by this agreement have agreed to provide meals to their workers, and this is a balanced meal, including of all dietary balanced meal that should meet all dietary standards.
Mr. Paul adds, where vacations and other leave provisions are required, the value provided for that meal will be calculated at $14 a day. And where a hotel presently opts not to provide meals as part of policy, or was a member of the agreement and so chooses to opt out, a meal provision will stand at $20 a day.
The settlement for wages and salaries reached by the parties is as follows. For the first year of the agreement, 2021, there will be no changes in wages. For the second year of the agreement, commencing the 15th of December 2022, all workers covered by this agreement shall receive a 3%. For the year 2023, the workers shall receive a further 3%. And for the fourth year of the agreement, commencing the 15th of December 2024, workers will receive a 4.25% increase. These increases in wages are all compounded and should therefore be paid to the workers accordingly. Further, where a hotel has not yet provided any increases of wages based on this agreement, those payments are to be made no later than the 20th of December.
Additionally, male employees are now entitled to 10 days paternity leave, applicable up to 3 confinements during their tenure.
We've also renegotiated the call-out allowance paid to workers who have to return to provide support to their colleagues within the industry. We've also hammered out a new protocol to deal with the matter of health and safety and the provision of PPE within the sector. We've also reviewed the agreement on splitting of shifts within the sector. We've also made modifications to the disciplinary clause and the disciplinary functions that govern the workers and their interactions with management.
And there's more good news this time for local fisherfolk. Government has decided to extend the business interruption fund they've been benefiting from since the passage of Hurricane Beryl for an additional 3 months. Confirmation of this was confirmed by Minister of Environment and National Beautification, Green and Blue Economy, Adrian Ford. Now, initially, the fund was set for 3 months after over 200 fishing vessels were damaged as the Category 5 hurricane passed Barbados on July the 1st. However, according to Minister Ford, Cabinet has made a determination that the payouts for boat owners, captains and crew will continue for a while longer.
Boat owners will receive an additional $2,000 a month for 3 months. The captain and crew members will receive $1,500 a month for an additional 3 months. I just want to report as well that we have since relaunched 45 repaired boats back in our ocean space, along with the 100 or so which were not affected by the passage of Hurricane Beryl. I can safely say that there are around 145 fishing vessels now actively involved in the fishing exercise.
Regarding additional efforts to secure the industry, Minister Ford says work on the breakwater wall in the Bridgetown Fisheries Complex has begun in earnest.
We have received the armored stones to build up a more resilient breakwater system. Work is expected to be completed by the middle of next year. I just want to give Barbadians the calm and rested assurance that this government will do everything in its power to ensure not only the survival of the fishing industry, but equally the success of an industry that is at the bedrock of our sustainable development.
The minister advises those who have not been able to access the fund to visit the Bridgetown Fisheries Division to complete the process. Now, with the number of road deaths for 2024 at 22 compared with 17 last year, the Barbados Road Safety Association wants Barbadians to be cautious on the roads this festive season. President Roland Lowe tells CBC News the increase in fatalities recorded this year, which still has 11 more days until its end, is worrisome and a clear indication that drivers need to exercise more due care and attention.
Too many fatalities. We still want to see that number come down. In an ideal situation, you want to see no more fatalities on your road, no more fatalities. But before that happening, you want to see persons driving more sensibly on the road, taking consideration for other road users, persons who are in the bigger vehicles with more weight. Remember that you have a greater responsibility because you can do more damage. You have to drive and look up to the other persons, the other drivers on the road, the other persons using the road who are more vulnerable. And we just want to see persons take the process of the idea of driving more seriously.
And Mr. Lowe is encouraging Barbadians who intend to attend parties and celebrations this Christmas season and into the new year to arrange designated drivers to take them to and from events.
You have your parties, and you're going and hanging out with your friends and socializing. You have to plan ahead. Make sure you have that designated driver in place. And as I said, even sometimes you might own person, with a designated driver and a backup designated driver. So you have to make sure that you drive to arrive alive. And it's the responsibility of that designated driver. You know, you're not supposed to be drinking, not consuming alcohol, because you have to make sure that the persons in your group get to the event and then get home safe from the event. So that is one of the things. Make sure you plan your routes before you leave home.
We'll take a break here, but coming up, major upgrades for the rehabilitation and physiotherapy wing of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. The rehabilitation and physiotherapy wing of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital is set for major refurbishment starting October next year. Founder of the Maria Holder Memorial Trust, Christopher Holder, says the trust will be funding the construction, which, when complete, will improve the unit's efficiency. He made the announcement during the handing over ceremony of the 2 ambulances donated by the trust to the Barbados Ambulance Service.
We have reached agreement with yourselves to in fact, I've got it here, to refurbish and extend part of the hospital at Martindale's Road. There is a plan, we can show it later. Before you ask me, I have no costs for it yet, but we have committed and agreed for that extension to the hospital and that refurbishment of that area. So again, part of our mantra, what we believe in is helping those in greatest need, and this is an area which is clearly lacking in its efficiency. We will make that happen for you, Neil, for the people of Barbados.
The state-of-the-art ambulances were brought in by NASCO Limited. Managing Director Roger Hill says the company has enlisted the services of Bushy Park Driving Academy to provide an instructor to train ambulance drivers.
And we're going to be doing this training, I believe, in January and February of 2025. So it's important because there's so many factors out there that drivers face in driving ambulances. An ambulance is not something that you need to be driving at 120 miles an hour. You need to be driving, 80 kilometers, 90 kilometers with a clear path. But sometimes many things get in your way that cause an issue. We see it because we see damage from time to time.
Meanwhile, this festive season, Barbadians are being encouraged to give the gift of blood. The appeal from Director of Clinical and Diagnostic Services at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Dr. the Most Honorable Corey Ford. He says as people get busy with Christmas-related activities, the Blood Collection Center, which has moved to the hospital's Bellevue Annex, usually sees a fall-off in donations.
This is certainly a general need throughout the entire year, so I'm not asking people to run down to today or tomorrow or whenever to try to give blood, but to remember that during this period, there's some people sometimes who are irresponsible sometimes, or sometimes accidents happen and people may require blood, and if the levels are not up to scratch within the facility, then obviously that impairs what we can do certainly to prevent deaths in individuals.
Dr. Ford has also offered some advice on making healthy choices during the season.
Don't forget your medications, to take your medications, because people forget about medications around Christmas. Be smart in how you indulge. You can be happy, you can make healthy foods during the Christmas period and still do well. Watch your diabetes control, watch your hypertension control, and of course, after the Christmas season, don't forget your friendly follow-up with your regular physicians. And this is important because all of this impacts what we might sometimes see in the emergency department, a flood of strokes, a flood of people with heart attacks.
The Salvation Army is still more than $250,000 short of the target it had set for its Christmas appeal. The Salvation Army Divisional Business Manager Sherma Evelyn says they are $270,000 less than the $850,000 they wanted to raise. Ms. Evelyn was speaking during their annual Christmas luncheon at their Reed Street headquarters. Approximately 500 people had a Christmas meal today after the Salvation Army and the Cave Shepherd group of companies partnered to bring joy to the less fortunate in the city. Ms. Evelyn adds that although there was a bigger call for support this year compared with last year, she is confident more funds will be forthcoming.
Corporate Barbados have really stepped up and assisted us in various aspects of what we do at Christmas and going forward. You will note that this year our target is $850,000 and right now we are at $580,000. We're still a little bit behind, but I believe that even with hearing and seeing what we are doing with the funds raised, the other individuals and Corporate Barbados will continue to assist us in reaching that target, because when we reach that target, all of it is not spent at Christmas. It keeps us until the next Christmas when we do our next fundraiser. So it's very important that we always make the public aware that what we are doing with the funds we collect from them, be it private or Corporate Barbados or even government.
Ms. Levin also points out that they have catered to more people for the luncheon this year compared with previous years.
In previous years, we have done 350. This year, we have increased it to 400. And as you note, there are persons who come to us who really in need. And we have found that even though we have 400 tickets out there, still people who turn up today without tickets. We will still give them from what we have. So we put in extra just in case. So yes, the need is more this year than last year.
Ms. Evelyn advises those who may still want to donate that the deadline is January the 31st next year, although the kettle retires on Christmas Eve. More than 250 Nature's Discount customers have won prizes through a competition to observe the company's 25th anniversary this year. And 2 customers received their grand prizes during a presentation ceremony held at the Hilton Hotel, which was one of the sponsors of the anniversary competition. Marketing assistant Crystal Russell said Navindra Singh, who placed second, won a dinner for two at the Hilton Resort, while Margot Clark won a grand prize of a staycation for two at the Hilton. Time for Sports Night now, as we're joined by Mark Seal. Mark, good evening.
Good evening, Pearson. The Windies suffered a series sweep by Bangladesh as they lost the third T20 International last night at Arnos Vale in St. Vincent. The visitors batted first after winning the toss and posted 189 for 7. Jekar Ali top scored with an unbeaten 72 that included 3 fours and 6 sixes, while Romario Shepherd took 2 for 30. Once again, the Windies batting faltered in response, being dismissed for 109 in 16.4 overs to lose by 80 runs. Shepherd had the highest score of 33, while Rashad Hussain took 3 for 21. And indeed, the Bangladesh tour is now over, with the Test series ending 1-1. The Windies winning the One-Day Internationals 3-0, and Bangladesh taking the T20 Internationals 3-0. That's sports, just the first half. Person, when I come back, we'll have some tennis.
Thank you, Mark. I'll come back with a business report after this break. In business tonight, Barbadians are being warned to brace for challenges with shipping out of America due to planned industrial action at some U.S. ports. Word of this came from Managing Director of Jeremiah Shipping, Dennis Sobers. He told the Business Report that those involved in shipping and logistics, as well as their customers, should prepare for what is to come. Port workers who are members of the International Longshoresmen Association went on strike in October, but agreed to suspend the action until January 2025 to allow for negotiations with the United States Maritime Alliance. Now, major disagreements have caused those negotiations to stall, increasing the likelihood of further strike action next month.
That industrial action will cause some disruption, in particularly those lines that are going to be in those ports that the LA is involved with. There are two carriers only that come to Barbados that may not have that industrial action being applicable because their ports or their facilities are not they're not controlled by the union per se. They're not unionized, but you can rest assured that people who are purchasing items perhaps from the Northeast or from anywhere part of the United States other than Florida will have to find ways to get their goods to Barbados if the strike continues as long as which they think is going to take place.
Jeremiah Shipping is the latest addition to the shipping industry, and the company official told the Business Report they bring over 30 years to the industry.
We're not new per se, but what we are offering and what we'll continue to offer to our clients, as I said, is a partnership to let them see what they need to do as it relates to moving their cargo to Barbados. As I said, both air, ocean, and even bulk cargo we can assist persons with. So we have not been in the market from the terms of names, but when it comes to the actual shipping, we want to partner with people that know what they're doing, and that's what we're currently doing, working with the lines here in Barbados, representation here in Barbados, as well as dealing with carriers in the States that also are very effective and it relates to shipping and logistics.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Housing, Lands and Maintenance, Nikki Smith, has revealed a new plan to put derelict properties back into use. Mr. Smith says as some people migrate abroad, they sometimes abandon their properties. He confirms government is working to introduce a system which allows it to take possession of such properties and use them to assist people who need housing. He was speaking during a high-level meeting on housing and urban development for Latin America and the Caribbean in Brazil.
That allows us, therefore, not to have the cost of infrastructure anew when you may have lots with infrastructure already in place, and where the houses themselves are in fairly good condition, they can be repaired so that they can be used.
Mr. Smith has, however, made it clear that government does not want to disadvantage the property owners who may have gone overseas. He says the intention is to reach an agreement with the owners to allow them to reclaim possession of the property when they return to the island.
The houses will most likely not all be permanent. If we have to build a new house on their land, it is likely to be a house made of timber. Or if it is going to be, if they say we don't need it for 20 years, we will say at the end of the 20 years, it will become theirs so that when they come back, they will have a good house on the land. And the monies we collect from the occupant could be used to pay the taxes, keep it in repair, so that it becomes a productive parcel of land that we are utilizing.
Time now for tonight's trading report.
In Jamaica, Kingston Wharves Limited, with 19,379,328 units, was the volume leader, followed by Wigton Energy Limited and Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited. In Trinidad and Tobago, Grace Kennedy Limited was the volume leader, with 171,950 shares changing hands for a value of Trinidad and Tobago $627,617.50, followed by National Flour Mills Limited. And here in Barbados, Insurance Corporation Limited was the volume leader, trading 10,200 shares at Barbados $1.95 each, and they were followed by CIBC Caribbean Bank Limited.
That's tonight's business report. The weather report is next.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Now for tonight's weather report, I can tell you that an area of low-level convergence affected Dominica, Martinique, and to a lesser extent Barbados, St. Lucia and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There were light to moderate showers under occasionally cloudy to cloudy skies observed. Now elsewhere, only brief light showers were observed as a ridge pattern was dominant. Across Trinidad and Tobago, similar weather conditions were observed there as a ridge pattern was dominant. The Guianas experienced cloudy to overcast skies with scattered afternoon showers. Thunderstorms and a low-level convergence affected that area. Now, winds across the region were generally light to moderate, peaking at 20 knots in St. Lucia. We've data from the Barbados Met Service that says sea drones indicated that seas are rough in open water, peaking at 2.6 meters to the north of the island. We'll take a break here. I'm right back with the forecast. Now tonight, the central islands of the Eastern Caribbean will be impacted by low-level convergence, which will bring scattered light to moderate showers. Barbados will be on the southern edge of that activity. However, a few light showers are still anticipated. Now, the northern islands will experience mostly fair skies. Tomorrow, weak surface to level, low-level instability will be affecting Barbados. So the forecast is for a mix of clear skies and clouds with scattered light to moderate showers. The winds across Barbados will be gentle east-southeasterly to easterly breezes from 20 to 30 kilometers an hour. The seas are predicted to be moderate in open water with swells ranging from 2 to 2.5 meters. Small craft operators and sea bathers, you should exercise caution. And that's tonight's weather report. We're back in a moment. All right, let's get back to sports. Once again, here's Mark.
Good evening again. It's tennis time, where the season-ending Top 8 tournament has been serving up some impressive tennis at the Centre in Wildy. 16-year-old Lucas Davis has so far been holding his own among the men, while Gabby Leslie has also been playing well in the women's draw. Lucas Davis in the far court holding serve, and the sweet strains of Christmas music from a live band in the air, he benefits from the unforced error by Simon Lewis. But that wasn't the theme of the match. Lewis, now in the far court, would benefit from Davis finding the net, and this first set would be locked at 5-all. Davis would go up 6-5, and he ensured there wouldn't be a tie-break. For a brief moment in the rally, it appeared as if Davis would approach the net, Davis looked for the volley winner, but he chose to stay at baseline and hammer at Lewis's forehand till a return finally goes into the net. Davis taking the first set 7-5. The second set was an easy turnaround for Lewis. He broke Davis's serve and went on to get the 6-3 result. On this particular point, Lewis had Davis on the back foot and moving him along the baseline till he set him up nicely for the inside-out winner. Lewis guessed that it was going to his forehand, but it wasn't. The score is now 1-all. But if you thought that that was an easy one for Lewis, the third and decisive set was even easier. But for Davis, Lewis only managed to win one game, as Davis went for winner after winner. On this point, the two were trading forehand ground shots from the baseline. Lewis made the error of switching it up to Davis's backhand, and he paid for it, with Davis hitting the backhand winner down the line. Davis taking the third set 6-1, and the match 2-1. To a women's match, Gabrielle Leslie, serving in the near court, would have a tough first set against Hannah Chambers. Leslie went out to an early 2-love lead, but Chambers would battle back to lock the scores at 2-all, then again at 3-all, 4-all, and 5-all. Leslie here with the unforced error into the net. But Chambers would hold her nerve for the next two games to first go up 6-5 and eventually taking the first set 7-5. The second set, though, was a different story. Leslie had another two-game advantage at 3-1, but this time she was able to prevent Chambers from locking the scores. From 3-2, Leslie won the sixth game to go up 4-2, then 5-2. Now to game, set, and match point. To her credit, Chambers never said die and fought till the end. However, in going for the cross-court winner, she hits the ball wide to give Leslie the game, the set at 6-2, and the match 2-love. In person, that's it for sports. Unfortunately, the rain is falling, so the tennis done at the tennis center, it's on pause. No tennis night, apparently.
It's raining?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mark. We'll be right back after this break. And that's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. Have a wonderful weekend.